Welcome back to the Buckmaster Show, where it is time for our CEO interview series presented by Sun Corridor Incorporated, a transformative economic development organization representing one of the most dynamic and growing major business centers in North America. Sun Corridor Inc. is a CEO-driven regional alliance whose members aggressively champion mega regional issues that impact economic competitiveness and quality of life. The organization has helped to drive significant business investment into Tucson and the southern Arizona region through primary job creation, resulting in an economic impact of nearly $25 billion with 155 company locates and expansions, supporting more than 44,000 jobs. For more information, visit suncorridorinc.com. Joining me is Diane Quihuis, Principal Relationship Manager and VP for Wells Fargo Business Banking. Ms. Quihuis is a member of the Sun Corridor Chairman's Circle, and she volunteers and serves as an officer on the board of the Industrial Development Authority of Pima County. Diane, how are you?
I'm doing well, Bill. How are you?
Doing very well. Thank you for asking. Let's begin with the basics. Who or what is the Industrial Development Authority of Pima County? What is your mission?
The Pima IDA is a nonprofit corporation separate from Pima County, which is governed by a community volunteer board appointed by the Board of Supervisors of Pima County. Its powers are set forth in the Arizona statutes, but its primary purpose is to assist in the financing of statutorily approved projects as a conduit issuer of revenue bonds. This results in a less expensive form of financing for those entities who use the IDA. So the Pima IDA provides financing options to local entities without pledging its own taxpayer monies. In Arizona, each jurisdiction can have an IDA. What makes the Pima IDA unique is its innovative approach and that the board has tried to use its powers to impact the citizens of Pima County. One example of this is that the Pima IDA is a strong supporter and advocate for maintaining affordable housing in Pima County. Another example is that each approved project generates economic development in Pima County.
What are some, Diane, tell us a few of the misconceptions about Pima IDA.
The most obvious misperception about the Pima IDA, as well as IDAs in general, is that they are only involved with industrial projects. The use of industrial in the entity name causes that confusion, but the Arizona IDA statutes allow many more purposes. In addition to manufacturing facilities, the Pima IDA has issued its bonds for hospitals, senior living complexes, apartment complexes, nonprofits, utilities, and charter schools. As indicated, the IDA's governing statutes broadly define the project of the IDA and what they may issue bonds for. Often, the real restrictions impacting conduit bond financing are the federal tax laws impacting the IDA bond issuance, which state when the bond will be exempt from federal taxes and state taxes.
Diane, is there another misunderstanding about a lack of understanding about a conduit issuer? That's kind of confusing to people.
It is, and I agree. Another misperception about the Pima IDA, as well as all IDAs, is a lack of understanding about a conduit issuer. In the simplest of terms, a conduit issuer means that the IDA is only acting as a pass-through between the borrower for a project and the ultimate purchaser of the conduit bond. No Pima County revenues or taxpayer dollars are used or pledged in a conduit bond. So long as all tax requirements are met, the bond can be treated as tax exempt, and neither Pima County nor the state have any liability for the repayment of the bond, and the IDA only owes to the extent of the collateral for the bonds. The borrower is solely liable for bond repayments as well as the success of the projects.
It gets rather confusing, but I know there is also this the bond, Pima IDA bonds are kind of misinterpreted, correct, as obligations to Pima County, like sewer bonds, for example.
Right.
Yeah.
You're correct, Bill. You're correct. Sometimes the Pima IDA bonds are misinterpreted as obligations of Pima County, like general obligation bonds or the sewer bonds that you mentioned. To be very clear, they are not the same. The Pima IDA has no taxing authority or powers. Further, credit underwriting for these conduit bonds is based solely on the borrower and its credit. The general credit of Pima IDA, the county, or the state is not considered. So unlike general obligation bonds, there is no taxpayer monies being pledged for repayment.
Diane, why is this important to the community? What would you like our listeners to take away from our conversation today?
From a conduit bond issuance standpoint, the Pima IDA has been acting as a bridge for public-private partnerships since before that term was used. The Pima IDA, as a public body, is aiding in the financing relationship between private parties in the form of the conduit tax-exempt bonds. The borrower and the bondholder are assuming the risk of a project failure, but with the assistance of the Pima IDA is gaining the benefit of tax-exempt financing. It is also important to know that interest rates and the bond market are the driving forces for this type of financing. As interest rates rise from historical lows, tax-exempt financing may become a more popular choice for borrowers. Additionally, outside of the bond world, it is important for the community to know that Pima IDA spends its time and resources in an effort to best impact Pima County. The Pima IDA focuses its efforts on housing, small business development, nonprofits, education, predatory lending, as well as commercial, industrial, and economic development. We would like people to know that if they have a project that fits into the Pima IDA statutory requirements, we are more than willing to consider how the Pima IDA can get involved. The Pima IDA understands the importance of development such as public-private partnerships, and we are willing to assist in a variety of ways. If you tell us what you may need, we can then communicate how the Pima IDA may be able to contribute to the project's success.
Diane, how has this helped the overall economic picture in Pima County?
As a business leader in the financial community, as well as the Pima IDA board member, I believe my role is to aid in bridging the relationship between the public and private sector, specifically by communicating with other business leaders about the unique options and assistance the Pima IDA can provide. Cooperation between public and private organizations is obviously a key to economic development success in a region.
And how long have you been involved with the IDA?
I've been involved with the IDA approximately 6 years, initially with the support organization of the Community Investment Corporation, and then I transitioned into the Pima IDA board.
Diane Quihuis, thank you very much. Where can people find out more about the IDAs? We have a website under the Industrial Development Authority of Pima County. And then, of course, anybody willing to talk or needing to talk or needing more information can always call me at 792-5356. And we also have the law firm of Russo and Slania that is extremely knowledgeable in this area, and they can be reached at 520-529-1515. Diane Quihuis, thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a great afternoon.
Thank you. Diane Quihuis, a member of the Sun Corridor Chairman's Circle at Sun Corridor, Inc. She also volunteers, as she was saying, 6 years now on the board of the IDA, the Industrial Development Authority of Pima County. All right, this portion of our program, the upcoming portion presented by Mona's Danish Bakery, it's a great opportunity to stop by Mona's right now, have lunch, and then talk to Steve, the owner, about putting in your order for Christmas, for your Christmas rolls and pies. And while you're there, why not pick up some great Christmas cookies? Steve has piles of these containers filled with Christmas cookies. I don't know, there must be several dozen cookies in each container, but boy, you'll make a hit at the office by bringing in those tomorrow to work. The Christmas cookie season is upon us, and so is the Danish Kringle season, because Mona's is the home of the Danish Kringle. Mona's located northeast corner of Swan and Sunrise. You can go to their website, monasdanishbakery.com, for more information. You can also check out buckmastershow.com. There's a link to Mona's. There's a link to Sun Corridor Inc., all of our great sponsors at buckmastershow.com. 12:45. We'll be right back.